and truly lead these teams to be able to go through the international. And it really goes to show how important the captains are to Dota 2. If you ever want to talk about the greatest players of all time, I think this TI really cements it.
It does.
You can't have that conversation without the captains. The captains are pretty much everything in Dota 2.
4 of the 5 original Team Secret, Grant, are all TI winners and all captains.
Yep.
Something about that team, wasn't it?
It really is. Like they were here from the beginning, and they just slowly grew up through Dota together. And you decide, like, wait, I want to do it myself. My legacy. Yeah. Maybe I don't want it paired with someone else. I want to have it myself.
Yeah. I think Puppy alluded to that a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Actually, outright said Kuro wanted to take over, but he also mentioned that several players have wanted to take over at various points of his career, and that's why it's not worked out for him. He needs to have that single-mindedness and that control over his team.
It's hard to run and play as a Dota team when you have too many ideas flying around. You have 2 or 3 different people who are all co-captains and have a different direction or a different idea of what style of play you want. You really need one vision.
Yeah. Do you think that's partially? Sorry, do you think that's partially the problem with EG right now? Because they've got a lot of strength in there. They always have, haven't they? They've always built around 2 or 3 kind of captains in the team. And they had Fear, and they had Peter there, and Crit obviously was then drafting. They've got Flyer now as well. S4's experienced as how. There's a lot of heads in there, which can be good.
Yeah.
But could also be damaging.
Very high Dota IQ on that team, and I would say that maybe it's a little too early to talk about it, but post-TI, when you see these teams break up, and especially when they fraction in half, right? What happens is that there is 2 different ideas about the way the game should be played. Right. There's 2 different loud voices about what's going on, and those voices just can't really meet together anymore. And that's what happens at TI, which it is such a pressure cooker that those relationships get, torn apart. And at the end of the day, 2 people are going to go their separate ways, and they're going to pull some of their teammates with them and try and forge a new path and a new idea, a unified vision about Dota. And that's what's really interesting for me is every year that is the journey, that you get a bunch of guys, you try and create a unified vision, and you finally get to TI and you say, we've got it. This is how we want to play. And then you put it through like the ultimate gauntlet.
Yeah.
That idea and that friendship between you, and you see whether or not that survives.
Yeah.
And Evil Geniuses, because they were a new team, it survived last year and being able to get 3rd place. But this year, I have my doubts because
it might be
I have my doubts about honestly almost every single team who's out of the tournament already.
One of those teams are going to be is Vici, because in theory they'll look back and go, well, hold on, this is a blip. We've been playing phenomenally all season long. We've won majors, we've won minors, we've done all the impossible things that people told us we couldn't do. We've got a world-class squad, with a world-class coach. We have all the ingredients to win TI. We finished 5th, 6th this year. That's not good enough, but that's a blip. I don't think they changed, do they?
Maybe. I mean, there's so many times where those situations, one person gets kicked.
Right.
One person.
Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, we saw EG kick a player when they won.
Yep. And that's what happened with Liquid. Now they're in top 3. They just make one small little tweak. And it's very different in China as well. The way the scene is structured is that you can't just, bring in a new player at the end of every TI. There's this whole trading and roster shuffle process. Liquid, now they're in top 3. They just make one small little tweak. And it's very different in China as well. The way the scene is structured is that you can't just, bring in a new player at the end of every TI. There's this whole trading and roster shuffle process. Liquid, now they're in top 3. They just make one small little tweak. It's very different in China as well. The way the scene is structured is that you can't just, bring in a new player at the end of every TI. There's this whole trading
and that's with the Ruby Star, right? Yeah, it's an incredible experience. Just quickly then, before we head into this one, it's all, I guess all the pressure right now is on PSG.LGD, Grant, as they head into this game. How do
you had a longer night, right? You got to watch who you were going to play last night, which was going to be Liquid. You watch some replays. I think you take a nice long sleep. They probably did last night. And you come into it and you do your draft. Don't focus on what Liquid's doing. You do you.
Okay. Do you agree with that? Because you've mentioned before, actually, whilst you focus on your own, you still need to remember the key bands. We talked about Alchemist, we talked about IO Carry.
I think that's a simple one, just like step 1, ban Alchemist,
exactly,
good enough. Ame said he's just going to ignore a lot of the crowd, and, fortunately the booth is soundproof. He's just going to focus on his own game, and hopefully the rest of LGD does the same.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I feel like LGD is such a disciplined team. They are so structured. It's like the polar opposite of what OG do. And that's good for them in this scenario because, it's very much just like follow our training regimen. We've practice played the same way throughout the entire year. They're going to go into it. They approach Dota like a science, whereas OG, they approach Dota like an art. And it's a complete different approach, and it's what works for LGD, and it's what allowed them last year to bounce back from losing the winning bracket final, come back, win, and still get to the grand finals. Yeah, they lost it, but that loss didn't
soundproof.
defeat them.
He's just going to focus on his own game, and hopefully the rest of LGD does
lose and fall apart.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case last year with LGD.
I feel like LGD is such a disciplined team. They are so structured. It's like the polar opposite of what OG do, and that's good for them in this scenario because it's very much just like follow our training regimen. We've practiced, played the same way throughout the entire year. They're going to go into it. They approach Dota like a science, whereas OG, they approach Dota like an art, and it's complete.
But there's a lot of stress backstage, a lot of stress everywhere when you come to TI as a player.
And it's a complete different approach, and it's what works for LGD, and it's what allowed them last year to bounce back from losing the winning bracket final.
Hi. Okay, I'm gonna practice my Mandarin on you.
Okay.
Okay.
Test.
你好，
你好。
你好吗？
Fine. I'm good.
马马虎虎。
马马虎虎 yes 马马虎虎。
我叫 Casey，你呢？
徐林森。徐。
是。
徐。
So my first question for you. You've been doing this a long time. How do you deal with stress?
一般是抽根烟吧，然后让自己冷静一下。
Now you know that smoking's bad for you, right?
Yes, it's bad.
I used to smoke, and look at me now.
我现在看不到。
It's a fair point. How do you feel about TI coming to Shanghai and being in China for the first time?
对我来说，应该算是一种很好的体验吧，就是可以在自己的主场，然后有很多本地粉丝为你加油。然后最重要的是，不用去坐飞机了。我感觉今年和去年我是一直在飞机上，没有下来过。
You are definitely one of the veteran Dota players that everyone looks up to. Are you ever tempted to retire and move on the way others have?
考虑过，然后可能会考虑做教练或者解说吧。当然，我内心我还是觉得我可以打到天荒地老的，就是应该还可以打个3至5年吧，以我目前的状态。
I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. I understand that you have 2 kids yourself. What is it like being a dad?
我的儿子女儿天下第一可爱吧，然后我特别喜欢他们。儿子2岁，女儿1岁。
Do you have any parenting advice? Because my daughter is throwing tantrums a lot.
说实话，我也给不出什么特别好的意见，我只是陪他们玩吧。
Can you teach me something that I can say in Mandarin that's a good way to flame people in game?
别送了。
别送了。
Yes，快跑。
快跑。
快跑，别送了。
快跑，别送了。
你退吧。
你退。
你退吧。
Can you quit, please?
Oh, is that what that means? Or are you asking us to quit now? Thank you for doing this. 谢谢。
不客气。
Fantastic, good stuff. Casey with FY God, as we call him in Dota 2. How well has he played, Cat, this tournament? Has he been the old faithful steady hand guiding the ship?
Yeah, he's been doing pretty well for himself. And I like his estimation of what he said. Another 3 years? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah. Which would make him one of the oldest Dota 2 players. I don't want to get into the whole, when are you too old to play? Because I don't think you're ever too old to play Dota. And even at the highest level, I'm sure Fear has made has made this point many times. I don't need to labour on it. He also said in there as well, and I think I looked at Kyle and Kyle looked at me and we both went, yep. He said, I feel like I went up in the air 2 years ago and never came back down. I think collectively here we can all feel like that, right?
Yeah.
We all travelled a
It's
lot. Yeah, you all kind of look at me going, what? We all
You're
travel
right.
a lot.
Yeah,
You know, never feels like you come back down out of the airplane. Probably more so for him being out in China and obviously having to fly to a lot of European events.
And
Western
having to
events.
train nonstop. Like
Yeah.
even between events, you're always training and stuff. So it's I think it has something about the interviews and stuff where they're talking about like being able to have kids and stuff and having that grounding. I think having any kind of grounding, whether it's on our side or the player's side, really helps you just kind of get through the harsher parts of your job. And I'm sure that training aspect is one of those harsher moments.
It's crazy. We're kind of talking about FY as one of the really long-time veterans because for me, it's like I feel like I only watched him play his first TI a few years ago. I think it was TI4 with Vici Gaming where he had his first TI and he was a new youngster. He came in with like Sumail and Arteezy. He was that generation of players. So he's not one of the old school players.
No, absolutely.
He came in as one of like these new young superstars. He's still fairly young, but he's grown up very quickly. You know, he's a father now. He's a veteran. He is one of the people that PSG.LGD look to when times get tough.
Yeah, he's definitely the rock, isn't he? He has a good game, solid game. He's guiding the troops. You feel like they're still on the straight and narrow. Another member of the team, though, Grant, Arme, has the least amount of deaths of any player at this tournament.
Which is impressive. And I can tell you, coming from NA, when you go and ask an NA player who they look up to, like almost every carry player is going to say Ame. It's like Ame and Monet, and Ame is always the one, and they're just like, he's just good. Like he never does anything bad, which is a pretty high praise from an NA person.
Little things like, just being able to read the map and knowing that you don't have to go for that extra creep to be able to play safe. That's why he's able to have such low deaths. A lot of it does come from his teammates as well. He plays well around his team. They create a lot of space for him. Chalice and maybe do that to Spades. I do want to go back to FY, though. At what point are we going to stop calling like the Prince? You know, that was kind of his
the king
moniker, right? At what point does he become the king, right? Because
I agree.
The king is retired.
Yeah,
right?
He's casting here.
Yeah, he's casting. He can't be the king anymore. So maybe FY is the new king.
Maybe if you get this win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get the
All
win.
right.
Maybe.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That could be
if-
your coronation ceremony.
Yes, if he's a TI winner, then he's the king, and then I don't know where Sumail fits in. Maybe they're they have to battle for the kingdom. I don't know. Maybe they're masters of different kingdoms. I don't know. But he's the king right now, so I think he'd be mildly offended if that title gets taken away from him. The other one is obviously maybe Somnus. We don't talk about it as much these days, I guess, but what an explosive player still. He's still got it.
Yeah, he's their franchise player. He's the one they've kind of built this team around, and they're kind of the exception. You look at other Western teams, it's let's build around our captain. These are the key piece for PSG.LGD. It was Somnus, it was Maybe. They brought in some great leadership around him, which is where FY came in, but he is still one of the scariest mid players to go up against. He's got a big hero pool. He just consistently performs. I don't feel like you see him have bad games often at all.
And 5 years on the same team. 5 years on the same team is unheard of.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, do you guys feel like these star mid players don't have that overwhelming controlling aspect of the game that they used to anymore?
That's true, but I think that's similar with all three of the teams left. It's like that Sumail and no one factor where it's like, oh, could this guy just crush his mid lane and win the game? It's not like a necessary ingredient for these championship teams like it maybe used to be.
Yeah, I think that's like an important part to talk about Dota 2 anymore is that star power. It is still important. It's still important to be able to have the Rock who's going to be able to carry the game, who can take over. But more often than not, everybody has that star player now, and everybody has brought up their game fast enough. Nobody's doing something like so exceptional in the mid lane that they're not doing anything mechanically that other people aren't doing. In many ways, right?
The gap is closed, isn't it, between the top players? It's much narrower. I do want to bring out one of the players that's left in the tournament, which is Thompson, because he is, if there's an outlier, surely he is the outlier, because he's doing some really strange stuff in comparison to the other guys.
Yeah, it feels like he's one of the only few playing. Like, we had a few other players in terms of like Chris Luck playing these, I'm just going to run around the map. I'm going to do crazy stuff. My team doesn't mind if I make mistakes. That's always the biggest thing with OG. Like, they're okay. Like, you make a mistake, you're not going to have like a team like, can't believe he just did that. Like, the fact Thompson can get away with making these over extensions, these plays, even if he fails, his team has his back. And I think that helps your mentality a ton as a mid player.
Yep. Also, his hero pool is very diverse as well.
Yeah, he may not be the scariest, most mechanically sound player in OG, but he's the most unique and most innovative. Like, how do you prepare or play against this guy? Because he's going to do some completely bizarre build or have some unique style of play that no one understands except Thompson. His own team, I don't think, understand half of that.
His own team have said to me, we have no idea what he's doing sometimes.
It's crazy. And it's so good when you have that chaos factor when your team just trusts you. If your team didn't believe and trust him, then it'd be a problem. But the fact they're just but they're willing for Thompson to go do his thing.
While we're on the subject of players, just while we're waiting for the game to start, there's been a number of standout performances all the way through. I want to bring up Crystallize for Na'Vi. I know they got knocked out very early in effect. They went on a really bad spree at the end of the group stage, and it just kind of extended into the main event. But he and Magical in particular in that team have stood out at this event. They've had some really good games.
Yeah, Na'Vi were, I think, a solid surprise at this TI. Unfortunately, finishing bottom 4 of the main event is not where they want to be, but they had a decent year all around, taking wins here and there off of VP. They 2-0'd them here during the group stage. For me, Na'Vi have a bright future ahead of them. Great core players. I don't think they're a team I don't think needs to make too many changes.
I was going to say, don't go heavy. Alliance would probably be on the other side of that as well, wouldn't they? Would they want to stay together? They have some bright futures.
God, I hope so. I don't want to see that team split up.
Well, it's their biggest problem. Not that they don't want to stay together. The biggest problem is that probably a couple of their players could get poached by bigger teams. Is that one of the issues?
Oh, I have no doubt that Mickey is going to receive offers after this tournament, and probably already has had some offers. I think he's just a fantastic player, and again, he's doing it in a role that is not actually his original position in the first place, which says a lot about him as a player. The attitude of some of the teammates, man. Mickey and Boxy, when we had that
they were fantastic
misclick, being able to try and solve that sort of
they were all in, weren't they? They were like, okay, how do we fix it? It's move on. How do we fix it? How do we make the best of that?
That's exactly the kind of mentality you want from a player, right? I want that guy on my team. When I screw up, I want him to be able to try and positively figure out a way to get us the W.
Yeah, and I think we talk about we don't want to see him break up. Alliance has been together for a while, though. If you're not going to produce the results right, eventually there is going to have to be a change or something, right? Because they've been together forever, and it doesn't feel like they've really... Maybe they have peaked, maybe they haven't. It's tough.
I think it comes down to what players are available. If there's a big star player you can pick up, they may consider something.
Just go for it, right? Sometimes you have to. You don't want to see them change, but eventually, if you're not winning, you have to.
These teams aren't happy settling for just maybe I'll peak as a top 8. They want more than that.
Yeah, definitely more than that. Of the other teams, I think we talked about Newbie during the group stage that exceeded expectations, but it also took an awful lot out of them, Cap, didn't it?
Snake Kings still got it, for sure. I don't know if that newbie roster is going to be able to... they already weathered through last year's storm, swapping out a captain, bringing in Pylai Dai. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that for a second TI, but there's definitely some high-value players there, and I'm sure we're going to see some fun NA Dota powerhouses coming of that. Another team
what are you forming, Grant? What teams are you forming?
Just... I don't even know. There are so many players, right, with after, the disappointment of EG and Newbie as well, because both of them expected, I'm sure, to at least be top 4, and it didn't quite happen. So, you know what? You just shuffle them in.
Give me your dream team. Give me your NA Dota dream team.
Right now. Okay, we'll do it, but I want a promise from you. When you get home, I want to stream for 2 hours. It's just Grant going off about NA players and who they should form and which alliances they should have and what the team should look like.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah?
Is it finally BSJ's year, Grant?
It's finally a BSJ Kyle. We've got it, baby.
Yes.
He finally doesn't turn Kyle down.
Do your dream team NA. No restrictions. Doesn't matter what team they play for now, whether they play for a big team or not, or maybe you want to take a pub stub. 5 dream team NA team.
I was just going to say, I'm
probably
right here, Grant.
Number 1, I probably got to stick with Arteezy, I think, and then in the 2 role, Sumail. I know a lot of people, you want to break them
you're
up.
Basically building EG at this point,
far. But then on the 3, I probably would switch over to Snake King. I think, if you have other cores who are willing to have a loud voice, because Snake King has a very, very loud voice. And I think if you have players he really, really looks up to, he might back down a little bit, which would be nice. And then in the 4 role, it's tough for me. I know you said NA, but I would stick with Crit. I know it's EG, but I really do like Crit. On 5, SVG. He's coming out of retirement.
Oh, come on.
I thought you were going with PPD.
PPD.
Where's PPD, Grant?
No love for Peter. I mean, what's going on?
He's trying to take player personalities into mind.
It is
PPD
true, right?
and Sumail playing together. That's a disaster. We can't do it.
So he basically just rebuilt EG, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
With the sprinkle of Snake King and SVG coming back.
Grant, this is not the invention I was looking for. I thought I might get some crazy pub star that you've been watching. I mean, because there are a couple out there, Cap. We've been talking in the green room. Some potentials out there?
I mean, even in your role, right? I think a lot of people are looking at Lukey. I mean, he doesn't have the most diverse hero pool. All right, who are you thinking of then?
No, I'm down with Lukey.
Okay.
He's only been playing for Dota for a short amount of time, and that's why he has a limited hero pool. Going back to some of the players here at this tournament, I want to point to somebody who basically was a pub star before this, Nico Baby, right, from Mineski. I think he showed a fantastic tournament. I think he's going to be a high-value pickup for anybody next year. Just maybe a little bit more experience. That last series where they played against Secret, Nico Baby was not flawless, but again, I'm sure he learned from that entire experience. And Secret's like one hell of a team. What a different tournament it would have been if Mineski could have closed out that series, but closed out that game 1 even.
Yeah, who knows how that lower bracket would have looked. While on the subject of China in particular, I know that we've come out here a number of times. Have any of you learned Mandarin? Picked up any words along the way? Rude or otherwise?
I haven't picked up any. I've tried to because I'm one of those guys. I like saying thank you to everyone, and even then, I don't want to mispronounce it though. So I'm always just like thank you, and usually I give them the wave, and they always give me the wave back. So
yeah, that's the problem I had with Jack. Barbecue Jack, because he always. I was saying some words, and he was like, "You need to be careful your pronunciation."
Yeah, I'm nervous.
The difference can be quite substantial, even though I was like, "Oh," and it's made me paranoid now. I don't even want to say hello anymore.
I'm not gonna lie, I tried to memorize it, but I might have lost it.
Really?
But the Ni Chua Ba, something like that.
Oh, was that the please quit or whatever?
Yeah.
You should
that's
quit.
the important one.
You should quit.
Okay.
Take that to your NA, back to your NA pubs.
All right. Well, I mean, our Mandarin's not particularly good here on the panel, but I know someone who's had some training in this particular language. Let's find out how Casey and Slack's got them.
Here we go.
Numbers.
Yeah. Follow me. Say 一,
一,
二.
Chen Lao Shi. Chen Lao Shi. 二.
Oh my God! You cannot call me 陈老师二. Do you know what does that mean in Chinese?
No. What?
Oh my God! What did you do?
I don't know what I said.
Oh, that's very fun. If you call somebody 二, the meaning is stupid.
Well, that is useful.
No. We're only 5 minutes in, and you've already managed to insult the one person who can help us speak Mandarin.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 很好，很好 ，very good， 很好。
Hey guys, we're gonna hold on for a second. We have a little audio issue.
Okay.
Cutting for a second.
No, it's a real class, and then we're gonna actually we're trying to show people that.
Oh, now I look kind of like an asshole because I am bringing materials. It's disrespectful.
Yes, it is.
Listen, I didn't know. I didn't know it was a real class. I'm sorry. Can I have some pieces of paper?
I don't have very many pieces left.
You can spare one slice.
I can't possibly spare a square. Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, I found one.
You have a pen?
Pop quiz. Quiz. I will give you a number. You need to quickly react.
Quickly?
And ding, okay?
Oh, God.
Who ding first? Who say and get money, okay? Ready?
Yes.
好了吗? Say 好了.
好了.
好了, ready?
好了.
好了. Yeah.
5.
Yes.
Oh,
Very good.
Thank you.
wait a minute. I didn't get this money.
That's not true.
Why did you get money?
I won.
9, 10, 8.
Wow. 5块.
5块.
Yeah, correct. 5块. You pretend very angry because the tone go down. 不 Yeah, very standard
很
pronunciation.
好，不。
多少钱？多少钱？多少钱？
多少钱？多少钱？多少钱？
太贵了，太贵了，便宜点儿。
太贵了，太贵了，便宜点儿。
Welcome to my shop. 80块，便宜便宜。
太贵了，太贵了，便宜点儿。
3块。
不可能。不。
安迪亚3块。
10块，10块。
10块。
3块，10块。10块。
Is my friend bothering you?
Ready?
Yeah.
It's a real dance now.
I'm
Ending
good.
part.
I'm good on the
Okay.
dancing.
左边，
左边，右边，右边，前边，前边。你好。
You guys really did Good job. I'm so proud of you guys. Now I believe you have the ability to go outside, go to the real world, go to China to talk to the native speakers. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you guys. 再见.
So Vicky was our teacher and was my teacher for a few months. So I want to thank her because she was amazing, came up with all of those lessons. And, you know, it's the international, so we're trying to make it about, you know, combining all of our energies. But you've been kind of mean to me today.
Well, I'm sorry, Casey. I like to get you excited and do a little ribbon, but to be honest with you, my heart's starting to become heavy. And watching that piece, we worked so hard, and we've been waiting to come to China for so long, and this event's just been magical and wonderful. And Casey, I am sure going to miss you when it's over. We never get a chance to say goodbye to each other, so I can't wait till this game happens, this series, and I'm having the time of my life with you.
Are you okay?
I'm doing great, Casey. But I used to not like you so much, so let's go and shoot over to some outtakes.
So 4, yeah, 4 is bad number. Bad number.
Yes.
2, stupid. 4, die.
Our Casey Sue.
Oh my God.
Stupid Casey died. Thank you so much. Don't use.
I can write the notes.
Then what have you been doing with these notes? He literally wrote down our Casey. That's literally all he wrote. Was our Casey. 你好。
你好，你好吗？
我不好，你呢？
我不好。你呢？
What?
Yo, ask me.
I just did.
Whoa, 很好. Yep, so we learned some good languages, and I gotta tell you, many people don't know this, but the International really is an international broadcast. Over 37 languages are served at this one event, and you're only going to get that in esports. Everybody loves all their little sports, my football, my soccer. No, esports goes to all languages worldwide. We're the future. Your days are coming, old men. Real traditional sports is dying.
Why don't you go take a nap?
All right.
All right, so we wanted to show you all the broadcasts because obviously you're watching the English broadcast right now, but take a look behind us. We have a couple of the different panels. So this is the Chinese broadcast. You can see Jack is chatting with the panelists right now for the Chinese stream, which is super cool. And then if you go to the next pod over, this is the Russian broadcast. So you'll see that this looks very similar to our lovely English casters that we've been seeing. So this is the Russian broadcast. And then, come on, Slacks. Hurry up, man. All right, we're going to come over here. So here's our panel. Hey, guys, what's up?
Hi.
Hey.
Be careful of Rich.
Yeah, please stay away from me.
He's
what's wrong
really
with Rich?
excited about the camera coming over.
I was going to do a split.
What?
Do it, Rich!
Wow. Perfect form.
See, you've caught us at a weird point, right? Because you know when you're on camera, that's the kind of stuff we're doing over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
we're just enjoying ourselves. Rich is doing splits and dances and all crazy.
And
that's
I gotta
what we
hang
do.
out with this asshole?
Yeah, yeah, and you get him.
Yeah. Are you going to do the splits next, Paul?
I can do the splits.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
Oh my
Jake,
God.
Jake.
Yay!
All right, now do the worm. Do the worm.
My turn.
Oh, wait, no, that's a leather dress. Don't do it.
Hang on. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
Look at his leg. How is that possible?
Are you
She's
okay?
got me.
You good?
It's the death dive.
Incredible.
Guys, get off our set.
All right,
Rich
sorry.
is man.
Blow
You're
it.
spoiling things.
Wait,
over here.
I've always wanted to do this. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Back.
Amazing throw, Jake. Thank you so much.
We're blessed.
It's crazy. We are blessed, aren't we? I love those guys. I really do. It was. I have to tell you this story from yesterday. I had dinner with Slacks last night, and you may have heard yesterday he was a bit croaky. Right? He had a bit of a sore throat. He's feeling a bit unwell, and I wasn't Look at this. Oh, my goodness.
God damn.
That's unbelievable, Casey. How do your bones bend that way? I don't... That's incredible. Thank you for the replay. Yeah, so we're having dinner, and he's literally, it's gone completely, right? And so I'm sat there, and I said to him, so you can't speak? And he's like, no, I can't say it. Like, this is a dream come true. I get to have dinner with you in silence for a change. And he's just like... And you can't hear anything. It was amazing. I had a great dinner with Slacks last night.
So he saved it all for today.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's back to normal today. It seems like so. It's good to have him better, as it were. Great stuff from both of those. So, it wouldn't be TI without those two anymore, would it?
No.
100% it would. There's no way. I mean, right? Slacks came to his first TI, I believe, was it TI3? I think it was TI4. He came by himself. He was just doing these garbage, like, just absolutely awful interviews, doing stuff like that.
Sneaking past security.
Yep. Yeah, I have a badge just running by him, and now guess what? He's here. He's the man of the hour. Like, he is. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's fantastic. It's great suit today as well. Let's talk more about players. We were talking about that before the break in terms of players out there who've done well. We've got some statistics, actually, to share with you right now. This is the kill leaders board for TI9. So in order of how many kills they've got, so it doesn't take into account how many games, but look how close this is between these 5 players. Miracle 224, Anna 224, Samael 223, can't get any more sadly. We 215 can definitely catch up, and Thompson 204. That's insane how close those are.
Especially it's right, both cores on both teams is just mind-blowing. That means those supports, they're really struggling to get kills, but like Thompson and Anna, they're like, yes, give them to us. And I mean, it's a big part of their strategy as well. Yeah. That's crazy, those kills.
OG literally serves up kills on a silver platter.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because we also have the assist leaders as well. So this will be interesting to check out. Kuro with 402 is just ahead of Yapsor on 401, Microtrol 382, Fly 381, and Puppy 380. It's equally as close between the top 5 assist guys as well, and similar teams too.
Yeah, it is. And Mind Control, right? He's the only core player on there. You don't really think about a core player and you think of assists, but he's playing these heroes now, even just like Darkseer, right? And it's like, oh, we're just going to get assists because I don't really get kills, but here you guys go.
Absolutely. Top 5 average GPM per game is also a stat. This one is a bit weird because there's some elk
played
games
the most elk.
Yeah, there is some elk. There are some elk. It should have a star at the bottom. There are elk games. Crystallized 704 would be a single record for an entire TI, by the way. Average GPM, which he can't get any higher or lower because he's finished, obviously. So it's an incredible achievement from Crystallized. In his first ever TI as well. Army 693.9, he's up there as well. Hector's had a fabulous tournament. He's been probably my favourite player to watch. Yuar, likewise, had an incredible group stage. He was top of this board back then. And Nisha has also played exceptionally well. I mean, a lot of that, as you say, is slightly skewed because of the elk stuff and whatever. But still impressive stats from some of these guys. And it shows us, doesn't it, just how well some of these youngsters have played.
Yeah, I mean, especially a guy like Hector. Everyone's talking about him, what he's doing. He's not playing a lot of elk. He's just...
efficient.
Yeah, he's efficient.
Well,
he's kind of reinventing how to farm a bit.
Well, he's playing Elk Light. That's what ranking is right
Junior.
now. That's what Elk is. Okay. You pick up a Midas, you pick up a Radiance, you throw skeletons all over the map. You're basically Alchemist Light. All I'm saying is I don't want Hector to be like the visionary that every carry's going to go to now. I don't want to see my carries TPing from a tier 2 tower to a shrine just to, get farmed 5 seconds faster. Because, then no one's going to have a TP and that's going to be a terrible meta.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Hector by himself, sick player.
Yeah, I mean, when Samael says the kid's a beast, then you got to take notice.
Even Puppy in his exit interview said his name. He's like, Hector. Like, you get said by name by a player like Puppy, and you have to feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. We should bring in our draft panel and check in with them just to say hi more than anything else, because I know you guys have been over there. Good morning.
How you doing?
Properly good morning. You seem to be very well warmed up, sir.
I am pretty excited for the entire day. I think a lot of the things you started to bring up, you just look at this TI, so much history has already been made. Like, you look at what's happened for regions as a whole and people just setting the bar higher and higher over and over again. I'm excited to see what the final storyline is.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. I am still a little bit awestruck by the splits and
I know, right? These bendy people.
Yeah, I was excited for the Dota today, and I also got that. But I just think it's crazy that the teams, it feels like we kind of doubted. We were wondering how we expected them to do better in the group stage, and yet, or at the start of the bracket, and yet they're all back here. And like teams like Liquid it seems like the best players this year truly have made it to the final 3, and I'm just so excited to see the best Dota in the world.
It feels like the top 6 were in some order the top 6 that most people would expect, right? It's just consistent results throughout the year. And what a surprise they all show up at TI2.
It's true, actually. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Group stages don't always transfer.
No.
To, we finished top of our group, we'll win the whole... It doesn't work like that normally, does it?
Yeah, there's some great memes about Kuro in the groups versus Kuro in the lower bracket.
Yes.
I think they're excellent. And
do you want to give the line, or...?
What is the line?
Do you know the line?
I think that's Rich's take.
Yeah, probably is actually Rich's take. You know the line, Rich?
Wait, I don't know this meme.
Oh.
That's probably the biggest oversight of this draft.
See, we trusted him. We brought him into the circle.
The biggest oversight.
Yeah, this was the TI7 lower bracket run when the meme came out about what the upper brackets for something else.
Oh,
I can't say the word. See, I was trying to tempt him into saying the word, but he can't say the word.
I still have no idea where you're going.
Oh, really? Okay.
Lower bracket is for bitches.
No, it's
upper bracket.
It's
upper bracket. Upper bracket. Yeah, I was trying to tempt Kyle into it, but it's fine, Grant. You saved us. It's all good. Thank you, gents. Obviously, we'll come back to you.
Someone had to.
The draft.
Only Grant. Only Grant could take that line, and he would say it, but he would mess it up. God damn, I love you, Grant.
It's fine, Grant. Someone clip that and put it on Reddit immediately.
Oh, please don't.
Don't worry, Bob already heard.
We're having fun. And we're obviously moving towards our first series of the day. If you're just joining us, welcome to the International 2019. We're having a bit of fun at the start of our final day, just reminiscing a little bit about the tournament itself, recapping some of the things that have already happened. It's been a magical tournament after all, and some real highlights and records set by players and teams alike. So I do want to go back into the group stages a little bit and just, talk about it, because it was such a phenomenal group stage. It was, I think, and I know a number of people think it was the best group stage we've ever had.
It was so competitive. There was no free games or free wins. I feel like past group stages, when we moved to this 18-team format, there was a couple of teams who would have, the 0 wins. You had Fnatic if you go back a couple of years, and there was also Hellraisers who had 1 win.
Yeah.
This year, the bottom teams, NIP and Chaos, you've got a TI winner on both teams competing, finishing last in their groups. That's how tough this group stage was. I don't think anybody expected NIP. A lot of people had them in top 8 at this tournament to be getting eliminated in groups.
Absolutely. Yeah, shout out to Winter, our friend Winter as well, from the terrible MUFC days. We don't talk about that one. A bit of a rough time. But you're right. It's such a competitive groups, Cap.
Yeah. And, it's like, as a caster, when you're going through this group stage, whenever you get a really hyped game, you're like, oh, damn. And you go out of the booth and, you go to the common area and you're talking to other people and you're like, oh, did you see that game? And you're expecting everybody to be talking about this hype game that you just casted. But you go there and they're talking about 2 other games that had just happened. You're like, wait, what did I miss?
Yeah. What happened to the other game?
I had the hype game, but no, it turns out, and it was like that constantly. Yeah. It felt like there was always some insane, some mega creep. I casted a mega creep come out, somebody else. You see that mega creep come out? I was like, I was casting it. And then they say, no, the one was, I was like, oh.
No, that wasn't me.
No, I had the other one.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the group stage notes. 110 heroes played during the group stage. There was 95 played on day 1. And just to recap, we've had every single hero or band through the tournament. Only 3 heroes now remain unplayed and complete. 144 games, the longest being 86 minutes and 29 between Chaos and TNC. Shortest game, 15 minutes and 8, and an average of 49.63 kills per game. Wow. It's just, just those stats alone, Grant, kind of make you go, holy crap, what went on in that group stage?
Dude, that's a lot of kills.
It was
50, and then that shortest game, I know a lot of compendium people are at home are like, oh,
we were like, please go past 15.
Yep, and then they did it and GG'd out, but... And that long game, that Chaos versus TNC game was so fun to watch. It wasn't even just, they're just on different sides of the map. They were fighting constantly, and then, buyback, and okay, we'll wait again and do it. And they did it 5 times over and over.
Yeah, there's been a few games like that. I always feel sometimes that there is an inevitability about who's going to win those longer games, but that isn't the way it is this year, it seems. It seems the meta's shifted a little bit, and it still could go one mistake, and it could cost you the entire game.
Absolutely. I think there's one team who did have that inevitability, which was Secret. Whenever they were behind, you're like, is Secret really behind? Are they won some games, look at the Manesi series where it's like, come on, surely Secret's going to lose this one. It's the same in the group stage. They had multiple Mega Creeps come back against Alliance and then also against Newbie. But it wasn't just, Secret coming back. It was any of the teams, some of the teams you didn't expect who are turning around huge deficits.
Yeah, I remember back EG versus Eheim. I think it was TI6 with the Mega Creep comeback, which was an insane. It's one of my favorite games I've ever seen, partly because of the way that it happened just in the middle of the arena. But it seems now Mega Creep comebacks are, I wouldn't say more prevalent, but they are slightly easier now. You can do something if you react quickly to it.
There's a lot of things about that. I think that teams are a little bit better about how they come back against Mega Creeps. Again, I want to reference the Secret Mineski one. One thing that Secret did really smart was they actually stalled out the barracks. They knew they were going to lose Megas, but they didn't just go, okay, we have to play against Megas. They actually stalled out, waiting that last 10 seconds till, I don't remember who, but somebody was going to come back alive. They initiate on this Alchemist, slow him down, hex him up. He has to recommit to the barracks, and as a result, just that little bit of stall out turns into a team fight. That team fight turns into Mineski almost getting wiped, and Secret able just to march down mid. There's a lot of situations like that. But there's also late game factors as well, Aghanim Scepters and Moon Shards you can always go farther. You can always, you never feel like a hero is capped out like he used to.
Yeah, it's true. Grant, what have you made of this entire tournament?
Man, it's been nuts. I got to cast the first carry IO game right. I saw that. I'm like, oh my goodness, we are going to see this a ton this turn. We have. I thought maybe it would just be Ana, but we've seen Nisha play it, multiple others, and then I'm surprised. We're not seeing these late game team fighters going through in these last three teams. Right? I thought Secret was going to be Earthshaker, Enigma. We don't care about fighting from behind. That's what we like to do best. And instead, they let the Alk through, and here we are now.
Yeah. Cap?
It's been a fantastic tournament. I felt, I always look back to TI6 when I was so sure that somebody was going to actually take the Aegis the next year 2 times in a row, but it still hasn't happened. Maybe it'll happen this year. Maybe we'll go to TI10. Dude, that's insane.
It is.
It's absolutely insane. Yeah. We could have 10 years of the International without a world champ being crowned twice.
I think especially crazy when you consider it is mostly the same players who come back year after year. It's not like every TI there's half the teams and new teams. It's 80%, 70% of the players who played a TI before. There's normally only a handful of TI newcomers, maybe 10 or 15. I don't know if you know how many there are this year, but there's...
Well, I think there's 22 this year.
Okay, 22.
Yeah.
That's
a fair amount.
That's 4 teams out of 18's worth. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's never happened before. 9 years of TI.
Yeah, and it feels like we do talk about it every year and think, it must end this year.
Yeah.
And it feels like we've done that for 5 years too. So, yeah, who knows? I think it's probably the greatest chance we've got this year because of the 15 players we've got left, 9 have won TI. So the odds are in our favour this year of a new champion. 10 have actually played in a TI final. If we get Liquid versus OG, all 10 players have played in a grand final before at TI. So that would be interesting. But likewise, LGD are the only team that haven't won it before out of the 3 that are left. And they've got 5 players who've never won it before, which means that it's their chance to win it this year because that's the way the gods work, isn't it? Isn't that how Ice Frog dictates who wins TI?
Seems so far, yeah. It's LGD's destiny maybe, but there's a crazy amount of experience with these 3 teams.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter who gets to the final now. There's experience from all 3 sets of teams. They've all been there. They all know what they're doing. All 15 players have played in a TI final, so because people are going, hold on, but there's Weeha. Yeah, he also played in a grand final.
Chaos.
Yeah, digital chaos. The original Cinderellas, as it were.
Exactly.
Before OG went one further and won the whole thing. So plenty of experience in that final. I don't think nerves are necessarily going to be an issue. Grant, are they at this stage?
I think there's always going to be nerves. And honestly, for PSG.LGD, I feel like there might be a little more nerves because you talk about the crowd's going to be backing you. But in the back of your head, you're like, we can't let the crowd down. We cannot let... We are the home team. We just can't let him down. And I'm sure that's creeping in the back of their head. You lose one game and you're like, oh my goodness, this isn't good.
That's why Amai said he's going to try not to care about the crowd. He's just going to, sit there in his soundproof booth. He's not going to give in to all the hype that's behind them too much. And I think that's also why for the Chinese teams, it is important to be able to have a coach that takes the blame. We talked a lot about ROTK, but 357 does the same. The old bald man, as they call him, apparently.
Dude,
that's harsh, man. China's harsh, but that he's just going to be the lightning rod for a lot of that, and hopefully he will soak it up for his players, and they'll perform better as a result.
Right. Okay. You're probably wondering while we're chit-chatting away regarding the start of the day. It has been a long day already, I guess, for you guys. I know that you're up late wherever you are in the world, and maybe some of you got up early. Thank you for tuning in. And we apologise for the delay. Unfortunately, we are suffering for some technical problems right now, which we are working hard to get fixed. Obviously, I'm not working hard to get them fixed. I don't do that kind of stuff, but some people are working very hard to get them fixed. And as soon as we've got any more news for you, we will let you know. But stay tuned. This is the International 2019.
treat in store for us right now. We're going to be taking a look at the main stage. It is time for the cosplay competition. We're going to be providing a look. We're not going to be doing that, but we are going to
it's not last place right there.
I thought it was us. Oh, sorry. We're jumping down to the main stage. Let's see what they have in store.
Hi. 大家好，接下来呢，我来宣布，我就是本届 TI9的 cosplay 冠军。哦，当然了，没相信我对吧？看我也就是看个乐，真正学技术还得看 cosplay 大赛。那接下来让我们一个一个来揭开他们神秘的面纱吧。首先，1号参赛选手嘉颖。
It's a dark gorilla, right? Oh my god, does she even have a drone? It's actually a cosplay you don't see that often.
Hey! Hey there! Oh, we're back to so we're working really quickly. I do want to introduce with us right now. We have Caro joining us. I believe you've been cosplaying for 15 years. You've been organizing a whole bunch of cosplay competitions. So we do have an expert with us right now. You break down what we have been seeing so far, Caro.
Okay, so I even know this Legion Commander because she was like in the previous cosplay contest already and she won there. But China's cosplay is just like next level. Like it's not comparable to like any other region. It's just incredible.
Is it like a time thing? Like do you think they just spend like their entire year and like oh my god?
Oh my god, yeah, I think so.
It's a trend for
It is incredible.
I love the I gotta say I love cosplay, but I love the accessories. We saw like the blades, the pipe right there. I don't know
that thing looks heavy. I like the heroes that I would never think to cosplay. Like what? I love these lollipops inside of PB's wings.
I'm actually just impressed. I mean, they had a lot of criteria for these cosplay contests, like creativity, for example, then the material stitching, how does it fit, like does the proportions and stuff like fit the hero, then of course attention attention to the detail and like in general the overall complexity.
One of my best friends, he's always very critical of anything that anybody would be wearing. And he has a popular saying where he goes, "Wrong belt," and we have not seen any of that.
Yeah, these are right belts. This is amazing. It looks like a robot. Like this is. I don't want to be anywhere near them.
Like this is actually insane. They look like exactly as they would have taken, like out of the in-game scene on the.
How much time does it need to build something like this?
Really depends on how much time you put into it. Like when you're working full time.
We have another treat in store for us right now. We're going to be taking a look at the main stage. It is time for the cosplay competition. We're going to be providing a little. We're not going to be doing that, but we are going to be providing
last place right there.
I thought it was us.
Oh, sorry.
We're jumping down to the main stage. Let's do that.
There's my boy, Canada. Well, not really, but we got the Maple Leafs, so I'm down. This guy's got my vote already.
My favorite thing, I don't think you get a vote, by the way. But I do say, I think my favorite thing about looking at cosplay is when you look and you're like, wait, where's the person?
Honestly, yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh, I like the movement here. This duo is repping hard. Oh, that blade. That's Arcana right there.
It's really hard. Like I don't want to know how the judges will decide in the end because it's so tough when you're having such good cosplays, and then you have to decide for 4 winners in the end.
Yeah. You never want to choose. Did this set even come out that long ago? Isn't that a relatively new set? That seems crazy. It's pretty new, yeah.
See, I think the thing right now too is oh my god!
Shoot me, please. Man, this is a winner for me right there. That's awesome. That's not a real tiger, right?
So sure,
never know.
Never know.
Little story. This morning, we were actually pulling up in the bus. We saw them wheeling in the tiger, and we were like, "Wait, what is going on?" I'm so glad I finally know. I do want to say all of these guys are just on the same tier. These are just top tier concerts.
Sure.
They're amazing. They will have the top 4. There's one best in show, best technique. One is the best transformation, and then the innovative award. But it's really hard to tell who will be who.
Yeah.
Actually.
So for innovative, would that be the one where it's kind of a hero you don't expect?
I think it's more about I think it's more something like the Terrorblade, where you saw the circles and something where moving parts of the cosplay.
It's like the tinkering costumes, right? Moving parts, laser beams, stuff like that. What were the other awards? So you got innovation.
Okay, welcome back to the International 2019. We've had some issues. I'm glad to say they've been fixed. Thank you so much, gents.
I'm not going to try to explain the whole situation to you, Paulie.
It's fine.
Yeah, sometimes the F4 wiring, it's a very complicated thing, and let's just say it's not very conductive to conductivity.
Okay, but we're all good to go, though, Rich.
Yeah, we're fine.
Everything's fine.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks,
No problem.
Rich. You guys do a service to Dota 2 and to the community. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like I've seen a fair number of handymen or plumbers or electricians.
I know how that movie ends.
I'm just glad
I've
you
seen a lot
guys
of
were
them
here.
online that look just like Rich. Same mustache.
Yeah. I think, Rich, I've now realised where I've seen that look before. It's Armageddon.
Armageddon.
You look like Bruce Willis from Armageddon.
That wasn't the video I was referencing.
Oh, we're on very different websites. Yeah, we're on very different websites. We're streaming different things.
All right. Well, whilst we're on that, let's move away from that and do a very quick preview. If you've just joined us, sorry for the delay. We are almost ready to get underway and welcome our teams to the arena. Back with that panel once more. Thanks to Kyle and Rich for fixing things. Let's look ahead. Excitement for the start of the day, obviously, and then we've got this first matchup between PSG and Liquid. It's going to be a doozy.
I am looking forward to see what the crowd is like today. PSG.LGD playing in an elimination match. Going to be fighting for survival against Liquid. That is going to be insane inside the arena.
Yeah, actually, when you look out right now, the corners are filled as well, which might sound a bit weird to say that, but actually you can't really see the screen very well, which is why they don't generally sit there. Today they've got to.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be loud. Yesterday when they were playing, it was the loudest thing. I was sitting right out here still in the panel when it's happening, and I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear the casters that are on the main screen. It was crazy, and I expect to be more of the same.
Yep, absolutely. Teams obviously had to adjust this morning. They've got them psychologically. They're ready to go, and then they have to stop and then have to restart. What's that doing to them backstage right now? They've only got a couple of minutes before they come out.
I'm sure Kuro's already given a number of speeches to his team and then a break, and then he's like, all right, we're getting back into it, another speech. But, hopefully everyone's ready to go. I know I've been real anxious to watch some Dota.
Absolutely, between these two teams as well. PSG, the nerves are going to start coming now, aren't they? A couple of minutes out, coming out in a big arena with their home fans ready to cheer them.
Be interesting to see how they play around the crowd, or as some have said, maybe you have to kind of tune it out because it's a lot of pressure. They want to see PSG.LGD in the finals. Everyone wants to get there. And
absolutely. Is there more weight now on them, Grant, because they're the last surviving Chinese team?
I definitely think so. With their crowds, their ruthlessness, losing here would be the biggest disappointment for them. So I think there's a lot on their shoulders. And as Kat said, they just got to ignore it, get it out of there.
Yeah, people think that, from a foreigner's perspective, they think, the Chinese crowds are so harsh to the Western audience. But here's the thing. They're just as harsh, if not worse, to their own teams once they actually lose. They're going to get trashed on Weibo and stuff if they do actually go out here. So, again, you got to block all that out of your mind.
Have to.
Just play some Dota.
Yeah, play some Dota.
Just another day
I
playing
remember
some
the
Dotes with the boys.
Was a bit, OGEG game was a bit, it felt like a pub game.
Yeah.
For a cool, few $1 million. But it wasn't like a pub because they basically have zoned everything else out. And that's what they've got to do today, isn't it? Both teams.
Absolutely. It's forget the pressure, what you're playing for, and just play Dota like it's any other game.
Yep. That's why I treat every single one of my pubs like I'm playing for millions of dollars.
Wow,
just
really?
so I'm under that
Reverse
pressure
psychology.
all the time. Yeah.
Reverse psychology. I love it. All right. Good stuff. We're almost ready, ladies and gentlemen, to get into game number one. Let's introduce you to the teams. First team to the arena for this lower bracket final are Team Liquid, led by the legend Kuroki. They have 4 previous TI champions on the roster from TI7, plus a TI finalist in Weeha. They have the experience, they have the knowledge, they have the power, and they've come all the way through the lower bracket from the very first round and are currently unbeaten. They are 9-0 at the main event. It's been an incredible journey by Team Liquid. Does it come to an end now, or is there another part of the story to write? One of the most successful teams in Dota 2 history, but still without an Aegis. Last year's runners-up, PSG.LGD, come out to the familiar chants of the crowd and are now finding themselves just one step away from a repeat grand final against exactly the same team. In that way are Team Liquid. It's a magical final day as we get ready for our lower bracket final between these two giants of Dota 2. It seems almost incredible, Gods, when we talk about LGD as a team that haven't won the Ages. You know, you think how long they've been around, and the teams they've formed, and the international teams, and the young teams. Just their competitiveness over the last 8 or 9 years has been incredible, and yet still that one thing is missing.
Yeah, the very first TI went to, TI2, they went 14-0 in the group stage.
Yep.
They came out of that group stage and was like, this seems unbeatable. How do we play against them? And then they've been at so many TIs since then, getting top 4, top 3, top 6, and have never quite come across the finish line.
Yeah,
like, so close last year. But
is there something to it, Cap, or is it just competition?
You know, I would always say that, it's just competition and stuff. But, like, this TI has really changed my mind about that. Everyone talks about, like, curses and, like, the trends that are sent and, like, all these little things. I think they do add a bit of spice. I do think that they add something that is in the players' minds. You know, last year, they talked about the curse, right? They said, it's a China year, right?
Yep.
You know, and OG said, hey, you can't think that way,
by the way, last year. 8 is very lucky in China.
Yeah.
So all the gods aligned last year to make it LGD.
But if you talk about curses and destinies, the Chinese meme around LGD is they're already the winners of the internationals. It's been like that all year round. It's their destiny to win TI, so they just have to fulfill it now.
Yeah, they do. Grant, it's always a testing time when you come to these lower bracket matches, no matter what the tournament. Does it make any difference to these players right now, the fact that it's TI and it's one step away from a grand final?
Oh, it definitely does. And as God said, like, they've been so close. I mean, last year, they probably thought they won Game 3, Game 4. Like, these games, you should have won. And in the back of their mind, they're just going to keep saying, it could have been that year, but push it out. And I think on the other side, Liquid, like, they're just composed. You saw, I love watching both teams walking out, see, like, who's waving, who's clapping and all that. You see Liquid, they look pretty carefree. Weeha smiling the entire way out. Meanwhile, on the other side, you know, Ame with a couple hands in the air, but completely straight-faced.
Yeah, it's also interesting listening to the crowd and who they cheer for as well.
Yeah, I love it.
In terms of each of their players is slightly different. Ame got a huge roar at the start, but I think the biggest roar was from Maybe.
Yeah, it definitely was. Ame, I was like, man, Ame, you're not going to be able to beat that. And then at the end, he came on, and it was easily the loudest cheer. And on the other side, I thought it'd be Miracle, but no, it was Kuro.
Yeah, it was Kuro.
Kuro.
For sure, when they saw Kuro on the stage. We've now got a regular chant going on around the arena as well. It's exceptionally loud in here. It's getting louder and louder and louder. And the LGD fans are definitely making themselves heard early here on day number 6, the final day, Championship Sunday, as this man goes in search of a first title.
We may be in China, but they still know how to do a wave.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
Universal language.
Absolutely. The international wave. Fantastic. The atmosphere is absolutely electric in here. It really is. How do they shut that out in the booth, Cat? Because you can't get involved. You can't. I mean, I know some players are kind of fueled by it, aren't they? I love the hype. I love the hype. But actually, you can't let that in the booth. You need to shoulder that out now.
Yeah, there's I've heard like a lot of captains talk about like being able to remain cold when you're in these matches, right? Because outside of OG, Dota is best played in a more calm, intellectual, just playing with your brain.
I'm with you so far.
And being able to understand that you don't want to get too much in the emotions, don't want to overextend yourself off of getting one kill, thinking you would get 2 or 3. You have to be able to be aware of all these elements, all of these little variables, all these little math numbers that are running at you. You just have to be able to feel that game. And in order to do so, you have to remain calm. But OG has shown something different. And I think TI is a different tournament as well. GH said that TI is all about who chokes and who overperforms. Yeah. And so far, we have all of our teams who have been overperforming. OG, LGD, and Liquid, I think, to each their own, have overperformed. I mean, Liquid started off with such a rough group stage that there's no doubt that they've come into the playoffs and overplayed their hand a bit.
Yeah, 9-0, Grant. That's when it's like, they've had a good run.
Yeah.
It's like 7-2, maybe 8-3. 9-0 is insane.
I mean, the fact you're in the losers bracket and you're undefeated on the main stage is just pretty unheard of, honestly.
Yeah, it's an incredible. It would be a record as well. I mean, it's already a record.
It is, yeah.
How far they've gone. They finished top 3. No team's ever done that from the first round of the lower bracket. It's insane to think that they could actually play in the final.
And definitely could. I mean, they have the momentum. That's the thing. As we talked about, PSG.LGD, they lost in the other bracket. They lost the last series they played, while Liquid they did the stomp. Yeah. They stomped Secret in the last series they played, so momentum is definitely always a factor.
How much did PSG pay attention to that? Because I don't think they necessarily would have thought they would end up playing Liquid at this point in the tournament, would they? After the group stages?
After the group stage, absolutely not. But you're kind of, maybe when they looked at that Liquid Secret series, they're obviously considering both opponents very highly. They're probably looking at it more from a draft and strategy perspective about what heroes Liquid's prioritizing, how we're going to deal with the ALK, because obviously OG beat them with them. Now they're versing Liquid, who will also first 2 pick it. So a lot of those key heroes are going to be what they're focusing on when looking at those games.
Yeah, not too far away from their first draft. Let's turn our attention to a few of those key moments. Cap, the other one's got to be the IO Gyro, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't
know if I don't know.
Get rid of it. Don't let them play.
I mean, Alchemist surely isn't going to be showing, but is IO going to make an appearance?
Both teams play too.
Yeah.
I mean, but Liquid haven't shown it as a carry.
They haven't.
So it's a GH special, no doubt about that. And they have paired it with the Gyro consistently. So is that
Gyro by himself even has been really strong at this tournament. We saw yesterday maybe attempt to carry the game with his mid gyrocopter right against OG. Yeah, I don't know. There's draft definitely a lot to talk about, but I'm actually interested in what our panel I haven't actually heard. Do you guys have a favorite for this series, one way or the other? Because it's really hard to say, right?
Yeah. I'm with Casey. I told you earlier when she said, I want all 3 games. I kind of do for the different reasons, but I'm still, for me, I want FY.
Guts?
My gut says Liquid.
Does it?
They're run. This 9-0 run.
I get it.
It just feels like everything is clicking for them. To me, they're in the lower bracket is like what OG is in the winning bracket, where it just feels like nothing's going to stop them. And then those 2 teams could match up in the grand finals, and it's going to be I don't know how that goes down, but
that would be TI7 winners versus TI8 winners.
Oh man, and that's a Liquid. I mean, they're undefeated. How do you go against a team who hasn't lost a game on the main stage? That's numbers.
No. But in Dota, though, you often think the other way. The longer the streak goes on, the more likely it is that it'll be broken, don't you? Because it's rare teams win 2-0. Most Dota tournaments, the big ones anyway, it's 2-1 because of the way that the flow and drafts and everything else works.
I agree, and I think the biggest thing is I honestly do, before we got into these last couple days, I thought OG and PSG.LGD were way above everyone else. Secret, EG, they're good and all that, but these teams look so dominant in the winner's bracket, and then slowly Liquid was creeping up. So I think it is very even, but I just can't bet against undefeated.
Okay, Cap, you asked the question. Where's your bet?
I'm leaning with LGD here. Sorry, say OG. I'm leaning with LGD here, actually. Just something about as Grant said, they had such dominant performances in the upper bracket. I can forgive the Alchemist. You lose to it twice, it's whatever. Shake it off. You see if you could beat it. You can't. Okay, you learned something about it. Now you're gonna go clean up Liquid real quick in the lower bracket and get your rematch against OG.
Okay. So you think this is a PPD play? against CDEC. It's exactly what Peter did in the upper bracket final. Gave him what he wanted to see if he could beat it. Figured he couldn't. Got that information ready for the final. You think that's the PSG way?
Better to get that information now than being 2-0 in the grand finals, right?
Yes.
Or 0-2.
yeah. Being 2-0 in the final would be quite, quite good. I'd be quite happy with that. And in terms of the approach the Liquid take to this, as God said earlier, they're quite chilled, I guess, because they've done so well. But is it not? Does that not change the closer you get? Because you kind of go, oh, we didn't really expect to be here. Now we're only one game. Does that not come into your brain a bit?
It's every team. You get further than your expectations, you're still disappointed. RNG talked about it. They just didn't want to get past the best of ones. They didn't want to get bottom 4. And in their exit interview, they still said, yeah, we went past that, but we're still disappointed even without top 8. Secret yesterday, they got 4th place. That's the best Team Secret's ever done in TI. And still, they're not happy with that. I don't think any of these 2 teams playing here are going to be happy with a loss. You always want to go one step further.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, third place is not where you want to finish at TI, that's for sure, because you want to play in the last game. OG sit here. They're quite happy right now. Chilling, watching these 2 teams. They've already said they quite like a crack at Liquid in the final. But I don't think they're disappointed if they get PSG. They've got their number right now.
I'm sure, especially because we will say it, after game 1, when OG won, they did get booed a little bit. I mean, then when they came back out, they saw, they're like, wait, this is helping them, I think. No tail throwing out the hearts over and over. No one can really boo OG. Yeah, it's so hard, and they are. They're just sitting back, and they do not care who they play. Sure, they might want Liquid, but they're like, we're going to beat whoever we see.
Seb with the call-out.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you anymore, crowd.
It's like the most lovable team in Dota getting booed. I loved it. I'm a big OG fan because they've got Nausea on their team, but seeing them get booed by this crowd because they want to see LGD win, that felt like being in a sports arena.
It did, right?
It was
and I know there's been some criticism online. I've seen it. I've had plenty of it on my own timeline. Thank you very much, and I don't want any more. But it is kind of legitimizes it in some ways. If you ever go to a Barcelona game and they're playing another team at Barcelona, guess who they boo? They boo the other team. It's not disrespectful. It's just the opponents for the day. It's like 90 minutes of rivalry. You're my enemy for 90 minutes. Afterwards, we're fine, right? And it's the same here. All the Chinese people that we've been around are super friendly, super helpful, super nice. They're all massive Dota fans, but in particular, they want to root for their hometown team. I don't see anything wrong with that.
You can't blame them. They love Dota, and they care, and they love their teams.
Yeah, they do. But they've also supported plenty of the players as well. They've all got their favourites. Anna is massive out here.
Yeah.
The fandom that Jack was explaining it to me the other day. He is absolutely huge in China.
They welcomed Liquid in this series with applause. A shout out to any of the Western viewers who have come over into this. We actually just saw it on the Chinese stream. There was a couple from Finland who is just in the crowd shot. And he's just a sea of LGD shirts,
2 Jerax
flags, LGD is invincible, everything. And I think that's one of the best parts of TI for me in the past has been the hardcore Chinese contingent that always came over to watch the games.
Absolutely.
Right? And they would all back themselves behind the Chinese casters, and they would be a little bit quieter, but the volume they came out from that section whenever the Chinese teams were playing, that was just amazing. They were able to rival the Western audience in so many ways, and now they vastly outnumber the very few foreign audience that is here. But
So it's a very much an international event, as we said earlier on. 37 different languages taking the feeds over this main event. A week of 6 days of competition here at the International 2019, and plenty of different ways to watch, including binoculars. It seems nice. Love the tablet memes. They're always out there as well. I like the LED signs as well. The scrolling LEDs, they're quite fun because you can pretty much do anything you want out there as well. Great to see the crowd having a little bit of fun. I hope you're having fun at home as well, wherever you're tuned in from. I know it's been a challenging time in terms of time zones, but you know what? You've been spoiled because the previous 8 time zones have been fine. You can forgive one, I'm sure. And we're obviously moving towards our first draft of the day between these 2 teams. Looking ahead a little bit as well, we've already mentioned OG. They're chilling out right now, no problem at all. Strategically speaking, who have been the stronger of these 3? Because OG, it feels like they're running on memes or something, or fuel of some kind that's nothing to do with the actual Dota.
Rainbows and flowers.
Exactly,
and
right?
Friendship.
Absolutely, right? It does seem a bit out there with stuff that they do. But in terms of strategic, who's been the strongest of the 3?
I would say PSG.LGD. They're just a very strategically sound team. their coach 357 brings a ton of experience and strategy to the table. They're just a very formulaic team in a lot of ways, and to me, were ahead in a lot of those OG games. They lost that series, but it wasn't because they got outdrafted.
Right. That's just that's a rival back to last year's fight. It felt like they won 4 of the 5 games, and yet they lost 3-2.
Yeah, that was something crazy about that series and the upper bracket finals. I just remember constantly thinking like, oh, LGD has this, and then just a little bit of impatience. We saw it in the upper bracket finals here yesterday as well, where LGD was ahead, and certain decisions like around the Roshan pit, where they chose to contest Roshan despite knowing the fact that they couldn't really do it. They end up giving up Roshan and the Aegis, and they give away 3 heroes as well. Like, maybe you can give up the Rosh, maybe you could take the fight, but you can't lose both, right? And that just was such a blow that it just ended game 2 almost immediately.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit opposite of Gods. I feel like Liquid has shown, I know LGD, their drafts are a little more stable, but I've seen Liquid, they've pulled out more strategies. They've shown, like, if you ban this, we'll play this, and I feel like people haven't really pushed PSG.LGD out of their comfort zone yet. And Liquid, they've been all out of their comfort zone with the Wisp getting banned. They can pick it up if it's not. I feel like they just have a little more diversity in their pool, and maybe it won't come into play. Maybe PSG.LGD will just get that tied, and then they're going to play, and they could just win.
It's interesting, actually, when you look at the heroes picked. OG are right in the middle. They're in the middle band. PSG are right at the bottom in terms of the amount of heroes. They've had 38 heroes played at this event, which is third lowest. 57 for Team Liquid.
That's pretty crazy, and it really does go to show.
I think it proves Grant's point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure, as always. Our first game just moments away, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to head to our draft panel and introduce you to the lower bracket final.
PSG.LGD versus Team Liquid. Game 1.
Folks, before we even start talking about this series, before we even start talking about the draft, I think we just look at this TI as a whole. We look at some of the things that already happened, because so much history has already been etched into those clay tablets, those tomes of Dota history, and you have an entire region having their highest placing of all time. You have your longest losers bracket run. The question is, what else are we going to see? Are we going to see a 2-time champ? Are we going to see a back-to-back champ? This series is going to shine a lot of light onto that. Because first of all, how long is this losers bracket run going to be able to go?
Seriously, not just a run, but undefeated. Talk about a royal road. This is a different type. Imagine, like, we talk about Secret, losing yesterday to the same team, Liquid, 3 years in a row. What's crazy is that Kuro, he's been in this sort of position before as well, but as a winner. To win TI7, they went through the loser bracket. They ended up with a 3-0 in the grand final. Like, they just killed it. They've got to be building in confidence, you'd imagine, as they progress.
Dota's a game that's so easy strategically to drop one draft, to mess up one time in a crucial moment. And to be 9-0 even in the group stage would be insane. And they're 9-0 at the main event, taking series from teams like Secret. These aren't 9-0 runs against the middle-class teams of TI.
Yeah, they are on an absolute tear. I think there are a lot of heroes for anybody who is just tuning in for Championship Sunday, maybe hasn't gotten to take a look at groups or what's happened here thus far at the main event. There are definitely some heroes that we think about instantly. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be one who's going to be talking too much about what we expect in the draft panel, but I know that Alchemist is good.
I was like, do I need to throw it to that? Because you'd probably know that, Alka's probably what you need. I don't want to see that hero at all today.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, we don't even need to talk about it.
Well, I feel like one of the other heroes that we haven't been talking about as much recently that I feel really is kind of in that tier in a lot of ways, though, is the Enchantress, too. Do you think that we could be seeing some Ench today, Kyle?
It's possible. I think of all the power heroes in the meta, that's the one that's most solved. It was super popular as well during Liquid's TI7 run, but more importantly, it's not the same in the sense that it's a lane dominator, and the impetus, as you said, it's gone, but Liquid first picked Tiny.
Okay, so last series against OG, LGD had first pick and banned IO. So people have been talking about that they can play IO, but the fact that IO's been mainly played as a core in the deciding games, LGD hasn't proved that they can do that. It doesn't really seem like Ame's style, and I think Liquid's almost saying, calling the bluff. We picked Tiny, one of the most sought-out heroes this meta as well. Are you going to be willing to pick IO in such an important game?
I don't think so, because after the change with the Ags to Ally going from 15 to level 20, the IO Gyro of PSG.LGD, that was their bread and butter, and it's just not that same power level anymore, but as a core, that's when it starts to look sick. Elder Titan, arguably the best support on the patch.
Best laning hero in the entire game. The one change I didn't know about that Fog just couldn't stop talking about is that a Spirit gives you armor.
Yeah.
And strength heroes in lane that have innate ways of getting armor, you just trade so well. The hero's still the same. Suddenly you give him 7 armor when a Spirit comes back to him, and you can't trade at all.
Plus a ton of damage, move speed. It's just, it's not balanced in the laning phase, and that's the same opener they used yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, Tiny Void, one of the most broken combos right now with the new Ag Scepter on Tiny. You can dump in, what, like 2,000 AoE damage into a Chrono mid to late game. And the only weakness of Tiny's Ags is that people can get out of it. There's really no, other than a select few abilities in all of Dota, there's nothing that moves people out of Chrono. And that's what makes Void just so potent to be able to pick this early.
And if there were abilities that did so, they'd be supports for the most part. You know, the Vengeful Spirit as an example. You can't really choose that anymore as PSG.LGD. You'd have a very one-dimensional 3-hero core, and what, you're going to run like a mid Rubik or something? We've seen it in the past, but you're most likely just going to have to make do with Rubik ET as your 4-5.
Overall, stylistically, I think a lot of the analysts have been saying when you look at LGD, you said that this is a team that's playing textbook Dota at the highest level, right? Like, they don't need to recreate, come out with any cheese necessarily. They're going to just be able to do what you would expect a team to do, but they do it the best. Do we expect to see that in this draft?
Absolutely, but you need this execution level in the late game. They're going to need some way to make team fights simple for them. Maybe some reliable way to shut down the Void from getting his Chrono off. Because if that Chrono goes off, whoever's in it is going to die. And that just makes the game, like, you're operating on such pins and needles.
And we saw Liquid do something similar with the Wyvern last pick yesterday, where they were playing up against this Mag, this high physical damage lineup, but they had that trump card, the just combo break that would deal with the huge AoE ultimate. So in this scenario, I think it's PSG.LGD you've got to look for something like that. And unfortunately, again, it's the supports. They already have them selected. So unless they want to do something unconventional, you're in a rough spot. And I love the bans from Liquid. They take out arguably the two best strength-based initiators that are mid and maybe's comfort heroes. It would be an excellent counter to the Void. You tank through the Chrono, as you said. You can't really, you have to stay inside of it.
Yeah.
So you need survivability.
Yeah, and also Kunkka, the X, is really good against Void's escape mechanism, so it's almost this dual, like, you have the initiation factor that shuts down the Void from those two heroes, and also, like you said, if you get them in the Chrono, it doesn't necessarily mean they die.
Right, eating ships, not going to be a worry now that they get that out of the way. What do you expect to see? What holes need to be filled here, Kyle?
That's a tough question, Rich. They take out the Lion. This is the turn, probably the most important part of a draft from the second pick position, because last pick usually have a lot of time remaining. You know what hole you're looking to fill in your draft. Whereas here, you have so many different ways to go because there's heroes you might want, but now, as an example, you take Centaur, you've revealed that this is your offlaner, you've got the support combination, there isn't much role versatility remaining. They're going to look to just save their cores for the last 2 picks and counter what they feel like Liquid's doing.
So just to reiterate that, if you're looking at, as like probably out of all the analysts, I'm probably the second lowest MMR, something like that, when you look at this third pick, do you go, okay, this is when all of a sudden we start to see where the chips are falling? Is this really that pressure point?
LGD has kind of just said this is how we're going to approach fights. They've given you a lot of damage, the disengage as well as the engage from your Centaur ultimate, but they haven't really said this is how we plan to win the game. This is what scales us into the game. All these heroes are kind of enablers to whatever is going to be picked.
And it's cool because you look at the different philosophies where Liquid, they just come out and they 1-2 pick their 1 and their 2.
Yeah.
PSG.LGD, they're, as you said, setting up the rest of their draft, whereas Liquid's like, look, we know the concept that works. As God said, I really love the point. OG approaches Dota as an art. Liquid, it's a science. They are very, very prepared. They boot camp by far longer than any other team, and it's no surprise they're here.
And also, if we're going to call Liquid scientists, they've definitely been in the lab. They have played so many games on the main stage already, dropping down to that lower portion of the bracket, facing elimination, and just 9-0 to get here. And I actually spoke to Puppy yesterday after he was eliminated, and the first thing that he said was, my team got better in the losers bracket, and I think that that's something that Liquid will be able to bring today.
I love this Mirana pick. I was thinking to myself, I wanted a support that would make my job as a Void easier to get a Chrono off, and when you're Mirana Invis, it's just hard for them to ever go on your Void.
Yep. And when you have the superior team fight, it's also important to ensure you have some sort of hero that acquires vision. Mirana, you scout with arrows, sure, but it's more about the Invis. So if you have a terrain or just any sort of engagement that Liquid have more information, there's no save for the Chrono right now. There's an arrow follow-up. You're going to be able to 100-0 a target, no problem. You just need to be sure that you are the ones actually initiating the engagement.
Yeah, and it's even nicer with Mirana nowadays because you play it as a 4 for people who haven't been keeping up with the tournament. It's a hero that was first banned almost all throughout the group stage, and as the tournament's gone on, people have been like, okay, well, now we can't really deal with Alchemist anymore. Now that's kind of taken the slot of Mirana, and being able to pick up such a high-value hero in this meta 3rd in the draft, I mean, it synergizes well with the Void as well, the guaranteed setup for Arrow. You're going to most likely pair it in lane with something that sets it up. The most popular has been Ogre throughout the tournament, but obviously first round banned.
And I always like to kind of try to take a peek into what we think the game's going to look like. First, let's talk about this gyro.
I like it. I'm a big fan of mixed damage cores when you're playing with an Elder Titan. The Spirit increases magical damage, the Hero, the physical. So late game, you get up close and personal. Doesn't matter if there's BKBs, that Gyro is going to be doing tons of bonus damage thanks to the minus armor. But early mid-game, a Spirit, a Rocket, the Gyro Q, the ultimate, it's so much damage.
And typically, especially even if you haven't been following Dota as much this year, I mean, you go back to maybe like the CQ Major, and it was obviously still very popular. When you think of Gyro and Io, they're basically the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie of Dota, right? They're just a power couple, and you typically did see them together. But when they're separated, they're still pretty dang good, especially here in this meta. We've seen Gyro by itself quite a bit, and Io all of a sudden becoming a core. It definitely has become quite iconic to see both of them by themselves. And when we've been talking about Io even, we're not necessarily thinking about the gyro.
Yeah. I would love to see something like an Oracle coming out for Liquid. It's really good in laning against Centaur. You can purge the Retaliate buff, and there's so much magic damage. Having a save on a hero like Void or Tiny, I think will make their fights even easier. It doesn't necessarily have to be that exact hero, but I personally would prefer the counter initiation aspect because you have so much reliable damage if you can get it off, that as long as one of your main cores doesn't die right at the start of the fight, I have to envision fights will go in Liquid's favor.
And to Rich's point about like the history going into this game, right? You've got already FY Rubik. You've got maybe, who beat me like 4 years ago at TI9 with the mid gyro. Ame also exceptional at it, and they're looking to go toe-to-toe with Liquid in the early to mid game. Fourth pick Tinker. They did this the other day.
Yes, they did. The damage in Chrono is almost, it was already there, and now it's really there. Gyros doesn't like to play against heroes that punish you for running in, and Tinker probably on my book is like the #1 on that list.
And you look at it, Gyro is the main source of your damage. The PSG.LGD lineup, it's all about setting up this hero to do maximum DPS. Liquid, you now have tools. There's no counter to Chrono right now on the Radiant draft, and this is very dangerous because if the game goes late enough, it's child's play. Your Chronosphere the Gyro, you kill him.
Well, that's the big thing that I do want to bring up. You say if the game goes late enough, how long is it going to take for something like this Tinker to really get online?
I don't really think it's going to take that long, to be honest. Once he gets a blink, he's incredibly survivable this game. He is going to have that fragile window where he gets the boots, like before the boots of travel, before the blink comes out, that they have so much gap close with the Centaur that all these heroes can get on top of him. But once he gets it, I don't see how they kill him.
It's less, I think, about killing Tinker, more about trying to take his tier 1s early.
Yeah.
Something the Alliance guy said on panel about this Centaur. You want to play away from him for the initial 8 to 12 minutes of the game. Let him shove waves, let him tank towers, hit them back. If he can kill tier 1s, as the other heroes of PSG.LGD can rotate around the map, make Wee's life difficult, that's going to be a big edge for them. If you leave Tinker towers to teleport to, it becomes harder and harder to push out lanes and actually take any sort of objectives, which buys so much time for Liquid.
I do want to go back to that Rubik as well. I feel like if you're just hopping in, watching right now, and you've watched TIs, you know that face. I think that this is just one of the most picked heroes at this tournament, period. And byproduct of that, one of the most winningest heroes that you can lock in. And if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it.
Indeed. And the beauty of it is we've seen him make such incredible plays on this main stage already. The FY Rubik, the game iconic where he stole the Phoenix Egg after Supernova to get it off, turn around a big engagement. The Void's going to have to be very careful because if you don't time dilate after Chronosphere, FY is real quick. He says he's only got 3 to 5 years. He's already been here for 5. And
Wait.
I love...
Shadow Demon is still in the draft 9th pick. This is a hero like you have the setup. I even like it almost more than the Oracle. I said I wanted a save, and now it's not only just a save, but like you said, in the early to mid game, it's a nice, reliable, low cooldown setup for the arrow. That hero is one of the most busted heroes in all of Dota, in my opinion. And I guess sometimes when there's just all these heroes going up in value throughout the tournament, these heroes get forgotten.
Yeah, and mind control, right? Oh! There's your Tinker counter right there. All of a sudden, PSG.LGD, they've got this excellent team fight, and as soon as you get in to the point of the game where Spectre can just go straight for Tinker, they have so much damage, so much vision control. That's a really cool 22 pick by LGD.
If he can get past the early to mid game on Spectre, the Shadow Demon does cause a lot of issues that early on, but if you get past that stage, you are the be-all, end-all counter. Tinker.
And you can toggle the Radiance too, right?
Absolutely.
So Shadow Demon, you will not be able to steal it. We've seen Ame go multiple different builds. Can go either way, but this is one of the more balanced drafts I've seen so far on the main stage. This is going to be great.
All right, so we're liking what we do see in the draft on both sides, but to really shine a light on how both of these teams can potentially win, we are going to go to one of the glowiest brains in Dota. Purge, what are your last words?
Well, it's an interesting draft on both sides. Both teams got almost exactly what they wanted. On the LGD side, they ran a very similar draft to what they played earlier against OG. It was an Elder Titan-based lineup with lots of magic damage. They opened both supports early, followed with a Centaur. This basically kind of leaves the other team, Liquid, in the dark. But Liquid also got everything they wanted. They opened with the very strong Faceless Void Tiny combo, which seems very broken in the late game, maybe only less broken than the IO carry. Here that was surprisingly ignored in the draft. And then they also followed up with amazing Mirana combos. Mirana with Faceless Void is ridiculously good. The fact that they got Shadow Demon with their last pick was exactly what Liquid wanted. You couldn't design a better draft there. But on the other side, that LGD last pick with the Spectre was so excellent. It's going to give them a hero that can get on top of the Tinker, which is really what they need. Because if Liquid's able to delay the game and keep themselves covered with Chronosphere, it's going to be really easy for them to keep getting their tiny combos. So without further ado, let's hop into the first match of the lower bracket today. Let's send it over to the casters.
Oh, we are so ready for this. I just live to hear balanced draft come out of the drafting panel. Sind, do you feel it too? Do you feel like both teams are in for a chance here in game one?
Well, and on top of all that balance, Purge just sent it to us with, I think, half a second left, so also perfectly balanced there. Maybe it's just a balanced day. The suits are balanced among the hosts. Like, everything is just the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, I agree, though. This draft is great. I actually thought LGD were kind of in trouble until this last pick Spectre. And if this would have been banned out by Liquid, I'm wondering where LGD would have gone with this, because we've seen Liquid play this lineup with the Tinker Void. If you can't take towers and put pressure early, they hit this mid-late game timing where their team fights are ridiculous and you're constantly struggling with your waves. But Spectre fulfills multiple roles in this game. It can get on top of the Tinker. It can outscale LGD or Liquid's heroes as well. And they have both the Spectre and the Gyro to go into the late game.
Kuro's going to say hi in the mid. The arrow's going to fly forward. Perfect stun. We're already beginning our lower bracket final right here with the max stun duration. Chalice will go down. Weehar is able to laser him. The crowd's starting to get behind LGD as they brought 4 heroes towards the mid, but Liquid, they were waiting for the retaliate stacks to be built up, and they answer him back.
Silver lining for Chalice, now he has 13 of them, because they were killing him. So at least he has max stacks when he goes into lane. But yeah, that's a good start for Liquid here. Getting the first blood on Weehai, especially great. Being able to have that head start in the mid lane against Gyro, which already should be a Tinker favored matchup, I think, at least by a bit. So now he might be able to even dominate against Somnus. Bounty runes, 2 for 2.
Yep, and it also means too that Team Liquid, they're able to move their lanes around, but they're going to run Miracle as this Faceless Void on the off lane, working with the SD and Mirana combination. The panel was saying very, very simple. They can transfer this anywhere they need to, but it means that, LGD had to be a little bit careful. They still took a lot to get through Chalice, so he's heading towards the safe lane for LGD. So it won't be the easiest kill on the safe laner. But this now allows LGD to push Ame into the offlane, harassing Mind Control down, who is nowhere near as survivable as the safe lane Centaur, especially when ET is keeping the Spirit right on top of Mind Control. Feeling the pressure hard.
Well, Chalice.
Here we go again.
Walk out.
Disruption. Arrow. Perfect long time stun. DP support's coming in from X-Nova, but how much can he really do to help out? Chalice taking so much damage. Miracle in his body, block him up with the illusions of Kuro, even while he's being harassed by X-Nova. And Liquid go 2 on the board. Chalice and I both times. But hey, still 13 retaliate.
Oh, he's actually going to walk top. He's not even TPing to get to the tower.
Are they thinking that Liquid will change the lanes on him, or?
Maybe he's keeping his options open, and also just since the wave is not accessible right now anyway, he would only probably be getting deny experience. So maybe he feels like it's not worth it. He's going to walk up here. And it gives them a bit more rotation potential since they already TP'd X-Nova top. If they also TP Chalice, Liquid can basically do whatever they want with the lanes. So they're keeping it safe in case of adjustments.
Up how Kuro is now chasing the Spirit. It's like, I know where he's going to be. Mirana, stay with me. Centaur's going to come as well. Disruption up on top. Somnus, yeah, he's going after Weeha. The Arrow is tanked up by Chalice up on the top lane, so X-Nova protected by that Centaur.
Somnus really wants to go for the kill. He put in a lot of damage into Weeha. He's going to homing missile him now. He could just dive him here. I think Weeha's dead.
Yeah, he's got second level Rocket Barrage. Weeha's going to... Oh, he tries to Fairy Fire, but it will not be enough. Somnus brings him down and really underestimates the damage from the Gyro.
That's so big for Somnus too. He's playing against a hero who got first blood. It's innately unfavorable to start off this lane, but now he's ahead.
This just never ends. The easiest combination of Liquid's life. They'll take Chalice once again, but we're starting to reach the point of diminishing returns. He's 0 for 3 on this Centaur, not a single CS, 2.5 minutes in, and this time he TPs out to the lane.
Yeah, because this time there's immediate experience in the tower, and they're pulling with Elder Titan. When you're playing an aggro tri-lane kill lane like this, you need to get multiple kills to make it worth it. Because you are sharing the experience among 3 heroes, and in the meantime, this bottom lane Spectre is having a good time together with Rubik. But now they've swapped it around. They don't want to stay as 3 anymore. I think this is a good time to swap things out for Liquid. But it also means that now Chalice will have a very easy time. Shadow Demon Void, what are they going to do to you as Centaur? You're just going to free farm now in this lane.
Yeah,
but they slowed him down.
Without the Mirana arrow stun, there really isn't that much you can do against him. But they needed to bring something down here. Arme was just getting free farm. And FY, always a dangerous thing. FY's Rubik is just, it's insane without farm. It's incredible with farm. I don't know if that's really an upgrade in descriptive words.
I was about to say.
But it's just cool anyway.
It's cool with any farm.
Yeah.
Mind Control taking some big damage bottom. He has no regen left. GH can give him a tango, but Mind Control will either die or need to use the courier in the long run down here, so they can keep harassing him out, especially when FY finds level 3 soon. The big increase in damage on Fade Bolt ramping up. And Mind Control is hoping to find a rune with the bottle that he wants to purchase at minute 4, but Am is not going to let him get the rune.
Nope, the Weeha's moved over and
get it. 2 heroes, they want the rune, but actually Mind Control probably wouldn't have taken it regardless. He just wanted to buy his bottle. Let Weeha have the rune, but there's no rune.
Yep.
It's a double damage.
Yeah, Gyrocopter grabbed that one from top river. Mind Control still ready to find on bottom. It's now the biggest combination. It's a level 2 on the tree throw. The arrow is able to connect over on Arme. So some chip damage, but you've still got Arme with 6 stick charges and the healing salve. Even if you feel like you're getting a lot of damage in, this is still a Spectre.
Yeah, they're not killing in this lane without an extra hero coming in. He's going to use his 10 sticks just to be able to build up more, get full value out of these sticks already.
Now stuns coming out on top lane. Kuro getting a lot of damage. Charles with the great hooks off. X-Nova's got that plus 43 damage. And the captain of Team Liquid, Barry fires up, tries to make a break towards the tree line, but it won't work. Turns instead for the catcher to actually help out Miracle. If you get a couple more bashes, Chalice may be in trouble, but all this is happening while the 5-minute rune's going on, and Mind Control dies down in the bottom lane. FY and Arme comboing together.
Oh, and LGD are going to get 4 runes too, Toby. This is a huge win for them. All 4 runes, Chalice survived, and they got 2 kills. LGD just came back in this game in a big way. Came back, it's like they were kind of just even, but they took a lead rather.
Yeah, it was about 800 was the net worth, 5 minutes in, that Liquid was able to ensure, but yeah, with the kill and the runes, it swings the way of LGD. Same for the experience.
Currently 4 wards on the courier for LGD. Flying out. Might drop them on FY here and let him make a little bit of a movement with smoke. They're not going to smoke? Maybe yes, maybe no. Nope, not smoking.
I was actually wondering about the movement from LGD. Like, how confident are you that you don't need to really stay on top of Weeha? He's been pulling back. Like, he had 1 stack that he was able to farm up. They're now prepping another set for him, but Weeha, we saw what he did yesterday. It was global presence, an uncatchable global presence.
In this game, it's catchable.
Look at him go. Gyro's just moving over. It's like, wait, I'm fairly certain there was meant to be a Tinker here, but Tinker's moved back to the mid lane.
Good defensive ward from Kuro, placed there on the around the top rune. So they do realize the movement's coming and they back out. But Somnus still has haste for a little bit. Okay, I thought he was maybe even thinking about diving, but he's gonna try to get denies. We'll get a couple by the looks of it.
Means Kuro's going to protect the stacks now, keeping the ET away, and puts a 1-1 lane up on top.
But yeah, I'm not sure how much you have to invade the Tinker here. You don't want to give him complete free farm, but considering he's already been solo killed by maybe mid, you've already slowed him down that good amount. And if you let him farm some jungle, in comparison to the game we saw from him yesterday on Tinker, this time he has just flat out has a worse matchup. Spectre is one of the classic hard counters to Tinker. Can always find him and get on top of him. And if Spectre finds Tinker, you can follow up. That's the whole power of this lineup. You have Stampede to get heroes in range. You have the Elder Titan Spirit that can get on top of Tinker as well and stomp him. Just plenty of problems this game for Weehaw, even if he has a good game.
Great vision being planted down by Kuro. Used a defensive ward that was able to protect the Tinker from being ganked up by the Somnus rotation. Now his observed ward watches FY coming to the mid. It won't see the smoke of X-Nova as well as Somnus, as once again they move in.
Don't want to get Miracle. Stampede is coming online. This is the perfect timing for this move. And they're also going to use the opportunity to place a deep lane ward top, but it looks like Miracle realizes something's fishy here.
GH is coming around the back lines. Miracle has Chronosphere available. X-Nova caught on the wrong side of the tracks. The arrow will connect. Miracle just needs a couple of hits. And down goes X-Nova. They back out of the fight. Somnus is already back over in mid lane, where FY is trying to get his level 6.
They're probably going to be anticipating that some vision must have been placed by LGD here when they smoke the ET and the gyro in together, but they have no idea which ward it is. There's multiple pings coming out from Liquid. Is it this one? Is it this one? They might check the real one last.
They're going top. Invis rune from Somnus wants to go to work. Miracle just time walks himself away. Somnus will see this, but coming into the tier 1 tower isn't something they want to do. As Weehaw can now finally take these stacks with rearm and a level 3 march to the machines. To start to move his net worth up the field. He was the only... Oh, geez, there's 3 heroes above 3k and he wants to join them, just able to do so.
And Liquid are going to give Kuro some space mid, and FY is going to take space from LGD. Both supports looking to get these levels. And this is the danger when you play these tri-lanes in the start, even if it was only for 3 or 4 minutes. Kuro's level 3 minute 9. GH is level 5.5, so that's good. But on LGD's side, it's kind of similar. X-Nova has mainly been stacking and moving around towards, so also pretty low on those levels. Whereas FY is looking at a level 6 in mid, so pretty even across the board overall on levels.
That's a lot of stacks they're prepared inside the jungle. Have they got enough to clear through this with Arme?
I'm gonna say no.
With 2 points dispersion, there's only, like, the second point in Flat Cannon just came into Somnus too. Dangerous prospect to leave that up if, like, we would even feel remotely confident to move across the river. But Arme will get through one of them.
Yeah, there's no way Weehaw comes over here. If anybody does, it's the Tiny of Mind Control that could walk up and try to steal some of it. But looks like Arme can at least farm the medium camp double stack, so that's nice for him. The hard camp double stack will kill him right now, but he might stack it one more time before the 10-minute mark, maybe stick around for the shrine, but no, he's going to go all the way back to base. Maybe try to get ready to haunt for the runes, but he's actually late for that. So I think LGD will be settling for a 2-for-2 rune trade this time around instead of the 4-0 they got last time.
Yeah, unless Mind Control wants to
contest
it. He's looking for the avalanche. That'll create the space. X-Nova, however, still was able to pick up the bounty room. Mind Control will get one of the charges from the bounty in bottom. His top lane's just been sitting on the edge. FY, he's looking for a nice deal. Starfall from GH will be the thing he can grab right now.
Nope. We'll take it. It's good for farming. He already has his first wave clear spell stolen now, so he can push out waves really quickly if he wants to. Does a lot of spell damage in order to get solo kills together, or well, not solo kills in that case, but combo kills together with Centaur, where he does the majority of the damage from Rubik. Now the Moonlight Shadow Liquid. They want to try to make a move, but look at how insanely good vision LGD have. All these 5 wards planted defensively, and they do see GH fading into invisibility. So they know exactly where Liquid are moving up. Gonna move into the dire jungle. But LGD have nobody there.
Liquid are trying to be a little bit sly about it, leaving the Observer Ward, but no, doesn't work with the ganks, so they get rid of the Obs. Their vision is starting to time out, so fresh ones must be planted. The 2 Observer Wards that Liquid planted around that 6-minute mark are now starting to decay. So they've only got one observe ward watching near the bottom rune area. Meanwhile, LGDs are still behind between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers in mid and top lane.
Yeah, somebody's got to come and defend mid. LGD are just letting GH and Kuro, the two supports,
with catapult wave.
Half a tower with the catapult, almost a full one by now. And finally, FY shows up. They were so scared of a rotation because of the Moonlight Shadow, I think, that Liquid used earlier, that other Liquid heroes were in the neighborhood, but not the case. They do defend the tower, but man, I think Kuro is going to be very happy with that. Going two supports mid and almost getting a full tier 1 11 minutes in. That's very nice.
Wonder what LGD were like prioritizing for elsewhere. Now level 8 is up, so he's still only like, because we just throw everything into that tree throw. It's only a 2-1 combination with the avalanche toss. It's not that instant kill you kind of look for, but Ame's returned to the lane. They'll keep mind control away from the tower. Trying to go for this Hand of Midas build on the spec. Understanding late game is the game for LGD.
Mid lane into arrow.
Yep, there's that combination. FY can't stand against it. Now ET and Somnus looking for their fight as well on mind control. He'll go for his avalanche toss once again, but 3 heroes together. Nowhere to get out. 2 of them being the cause for LGD.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And we haven't talked about Ame's plans for items here. He's going to go the Midas that has become popular in Spectre in the last year. In the past, you would never see this item. You would always go either a Manta Diffusal build or a Radiance build, sometimes with an optional drum or optional upgraded boots on the way. As for Miracle, he has a different farming item. He's going the Maelstrom on Void, ramping up that farm nicely as well. It's a different approach. But both heroes very happy with getting these items around these timings that they've got them. Spectre clearly behind that of the Void, 1,500 gold as a matter of fact.
And they're really going on bottom lane. Stampede. Charles able to bring down Miracle. Miracle probably feeling confident enough that he could have just stomped himself away, but Charles' damage really took him by surprise.
That was very unexpected. Charles is top net worth. He was 0-3, remember? He actually got killed 3 times at the start of the game in his time zone.
And now he's the first person to crack 6,000 in the net worth.
He has recovered in a big way, and that shows, you know, when you see players like this, there are some players that get killed multiple times in lane and they get frustrated and they tilt and they lose control of the game. Chalice is just ice cold. Being able to recover like this when you get so focused is just world class.
LGD will make the most of the space. Getting that last bit of farm into the gyrocopter. Still trying to get Somnus towards that BKB of his. As long as he doesn't die towards the creeps, he'll be absolutely fine. But Team Liquid are adding pressure towards the mid. GH will claim that tier 1 tower.
Important that GH actually got an attack off there. That would have been a deny by FY. GH secures it. Closing in on Force Staff. His go-to build on Mirana this tournament has been Force Staff into Lotus, I think.
Chrono. Here we go. Over on X-Nova. The arrow will be able to connect. Miracle. It was kind of already a pretty assured kill, but he had to chrono because Kuro wasn't in range for the disruption.
That's kind of a low-value chrono, though. Especially right before the bounty runes. LGD, if they were ready for it, could maybe even have chosen to try to fight here. But their heroes are not able to connect top in time, so they will grab the 2 bottom runes. But absolutely defend their
disruption
now, I think.
Here we go again. They're trying to come in with the avalanche. Quick toss up. Miracle's moving over. But Spectre's already dead before he can arrive. Mind control now. That's a good value kill. And while all this is going on, Weeha's getting more and more farm. Once he gets the Blink Dagger, these side lanes, they're a lot more playable for Weeha. Probably going to be better once Spectral Horn is down, however.
Yeah, he's progressing pretty well as well. And this Ame diff is big. It actually might lose because I think LGD might have wanted to defend this tower since there's no Chronosphere and they have really strong timing with the Centaur Dagger. But at this point, with Ame dying like this and losing control of the area, they're just gonna leave it alone, keep pressuring bottom, see how much they can get.
Loving the way they approach the towers too. X-Nova's like, I need to check the trees. Spirit in there every single time, making sure there's no hidden tinker, there's no heavy march machines, even a quick sentry ward being dropped down. No invis runes, no shenanigans. Kuro, Charles just jumps in. Mind control, just gets the back line. The arrow flies forward. It won't hit onto the hero, however. This will be LGD under the tier 2 tower with the ET splitter killing off mind control. And they found Weeha in the tree line. He's still staying close, but the Stampede, they try and get closer. The Faceless Void, they throw him back, at least get the one-man stuff, but Miracle chasing down X over inside the trees. FY is nearby. He actually stole rearm out of all of this. And he'll just TP away to safety.
Can rearm and TP back out.
FY gets as close to Tinker as he possibly can.
Why is he not rearmed?
That's a very good question.
Maybe didn't think about it?
I was like, oh wait, does this work on TP scrolls? Yeah. Either way, LGD. That's the first real encounter we've had from the teams, apart from just these pickoffs moving from one lane to the other. Took about 16 minutes for it to happen, and the Tier 2 tower almost died for it. But Liquid, it looks like they're ready to fight once more. Chronosphere is up. The Blink Dagger's on the Tiny for his initiation. Kuro also needs to get a wall.
It's a little bit tricky to land these. Liquid have done an excellent job lately in the lower bracket with hitting difficult spell combos and having really good timing with, for example, their Darkseers. But that one did not work out. There's more and more time being bought for this Spectre. You have to remember this is a Spectre that went Midas first item. So even though Spectre is this almost 2,000 gold behind Void, net worth on Spectre is insanely valuable. If you get later on in the game and he's still 2k behind the Void in 5 or 10 minutes, this gold just transforms into so much damage and tankability in the fights. And vision even, with the Haunt.
Charles has claimed the Tier 2 tower on bottom lane. Liquid, as you said, like there's a lot of time wasted by LGD looking for these fights from Liquid. They're actually looking at Mind Control, who grabbed the Invis rune, so FY was just stalking him in the mid lane, but it never came. And what happened? Once again, Centaur, not part of a team fight. He's down on the bottom lane, pushing it out, at least claiming the gold, and this will allow also the bounty runes to go a 2-2 split. Centaur's getting bigger and bigger. Now Vanguard completed, already got the pipe, and the Crimson's on its way.
They're going to smoke out. S3 behind Somnus, looks like trying to set up a bait. He's going to run up to the high ground and get caught on purpose, but...
Avalanche toss actually sending him back inside the banishment. Not exactly what they wanted, but the 5-second arrow will connect on Somnus. But this just allows Liquid to disengage, or does it? Stampede forward, Moonlight Shadow now burned by Team Liquid. As they turn around to come back once more, Miracle adds Chronosphere up. And they're looking for a target. They find the other Titan, perch him up with the time locks. My lord, that damage. They didn't have to burn the Chronosphere, but Mind Control, Avalanche toss, FY too far away. He's actually all the time on Miracle. He